So that's the current single from Nathan Carter. That's called Wings to Fly, and I'm pleased to say that Nathan joins us now on the line. Nathan, how are you, sir?
Not too bad, yeah. Thanks for playing the new track. Appreciate it.
So it's a song that's been touching a lot of people. It's a very emotional song, and it's a song that you wrote about your best friend, Nicky James, isn't it?
Yeah, a friend of mine, Nicky, who unfortunately passed away earlier this year, very suddenly. And I kind of stopped singing and playing music for a while after he passed, and got persuaded to do a writing session one day, a songwriting session, and sat down, and we came up with that there, which is in memory of him. And obviously we've done a video for it and put it out there online, and I've never had as much feedback about a song. You know, people writing messages to me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and people just saying they could relate to the lyrics, and it meant so much to them that they'd obviously, you know, I wrote it for Nicky, but people obviously go through the universal thing of loss, you know, and people obviously relating to the lyrics a lot, which is really nice to hear, having written the song, you know.
And especially at this time of year, we do remember the people that we've lost, don't we?
Yeah, this year especially has been crazy for everyone, you know, in so many different ways. And even in the music business alone, the amount of people that have passed away this year, the great Charlie Pride passed away there only 2 days ago and stuff. And we were on a cruise with him last year, and he was singing great, and he's just appeared on the CMA Awards in America and stuff. And just so many musicians and singers that I know of this year, unfortunately, that have passed away. Crazy.
And here in Northern Ireland, we lost the great Brian Call as well.
Indeed, yeah. And to be honest, it would have been a funeral I would have, you know, liked to have attended. But obviously, just with the current situations, you know, we can't. And so sad that someone of that stature that has been known and had such a long career. I know so many people in Northern Ireland and in the Republic that would have loved to have come to his funeral, you know, to show their respects, but unfortunately just wasn't allowed, you know.
So tell us about your friend Nicky James. He was somebody who was very instrumental in helping you at the start of your career, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was my mentor really since I was a kid. He was a fantastic singer himself and guitar player, and he used to bring me on stage whenever I was about 8 and 9 years old and get me to play my accordion and sing a couple of songs if he was playing locally, you know. And then he encouraged me to record an album when I was 15 years old. So he took me to a recording studio and he paid for the album. And not a lot of people know it, but he was so good to me really just through my whole career. And then we stayed very close friends. And in January of this year, Nicky was divorced twice. He didn't have that much luck when it came to love, you know, but he'd met a new partner this year, and we got to meet her in January. We went over he brought her over to Dundalk. We had a lovely meal, and then within 3 weeks of that meal, he passed away suddenly in his sleep. So it was just so sudden. I'd never really experienced, you know, anyone that close to me dying so suddenly. So it was pretty tough to be dealing with. And then of course we all went into lockdown then after that, and the world changed since. But it's been a funny all year for everyone, you know, and I suppose no more than myself, but we just have to adapt, don't we? And we change our way of doing things. I mean, obviously I normally would have been on tour all year round, just traveling and gigging and music and meeting people, and instead it's been a year of trying to find other ways of staying busy and staying active.
So did you find it difficult being on your own during lockdown?
I did, yeah. I mean, I think like a good few people, I was probably eating too much junk, and the bottles of wine might have came out some nights, and then you'd be sitting there in bed till midday the next day. And in the end, I had to focus on a project because I was just not used to having so much time on my hands, and you start overthinking everything, and especially when you're living on your own. So I started a building project here. I built a man cave in the garden, should we call it? And it's actually the size of a little cottage, but I'm kind of in the finishing. It's about 90% built and finished. So that's been a project for the last 3 months, which has been great, and it's kept me busy.
So what kind of things do you have in your man cave? Do you have a full-sized bar in there?
There is a full-size bar, yes.
Oh, wow.
I'm afraid to say, it's actually. I'm going to use it for recording. It's going to be a recording studio, but the problem is with the bar there mightn't be that much recording gets done. That's great. I got planning passed earlier this year, and delighted with that. And it's, as I say, it's just been a great focus and something that hopefully I'll get to use, because I'm not going to be gigging by the look of for the foreseeable future. It's going to be much later on next year before we get to go on tour again or anything. So get down to doing some more recording and some practicing, to be honest. I'll definitely need a lot of practice after having so much time off this year.
Now, it must be a weird feeling for somebody who's been so used to being on stage nearly every night for the past 10 years. You must be missing being out there in front of an audience and getting that audience reaction. Yeah,
so weird to go from doing so much. Yeah, I mean, and the buzz of the gigs, the people, the atmosphere, the music, the lights, the whole thing is a huge drug, really, for anyone who's in the entertainment business. To go from doing it all the time to doing nothing, and it's not your choice. You just it's a brick wall up. There's no more of this happening. So it's a big adjustment, and I do feel for everyone in the business. And it's not just singers; it's promoters and venues and the venue staff and lighting technicians, sound technicians, truck drivers. The list is endless of people that make their living through the music business and the entertainment business. So I do hope it comes back next year, and when it does, hopefully people maybe take the vaccine and then things can start going back to some sort of normality or some the way it was before all of this.
Now, your album The Best of the First 10 Years is out now. Can you believe it's been 10 years you've been on this journey? Because I remember interviewing you way back at the start of your career at a country music event in Letterkenny. And could you ever imagine back then that you would have went on to achieve so many things that you've done?
No, definitely not. It's been a roller coaster ride of 10 years. Played some amazing venues and been very lucky with the fans that have bought the music and bought tickets to come and travel and see us all over the place, and kind of this year I've been able to sit back and reflect, and especially when I was picking the tracks for this album, thinking back to my first single and songs I released through the years. Some of them I'm proud of, some of them I'm not so proud of, and it was great looking back. This album in particular, we put 20 tracks on it. But I didn't want to just do all old stuff. I wanted to record and write some brand new music. So I wrote this latest song for Nicky James called Wings to Fly. My single before that was called Sarah Jane. I co-wrote that. And then the one before that was with a band called the High Kings, a track called May the Road Rise. And I'd written that as well. So I stuck 4 brand new tracks on, and the rest were, as you say, what the title is, it's the best of the last 10 years, or the first 10 years. So a bit of a long-winded title, to be honest, but we couldn't think of anything else, so it just stuck.
Now, have you reached a stage where you're fed up singing Wagon Wheel yet?
If you had have asked me that this time last year, I would have been saying yes, but I'll gladly sing it any night. You want me to sing it right now? I'd be desperate to sing it again on stage. Yeah.
So what's your plans for Christmas this year?
Kind of a disappointing Christmas, really, I suppose, for everybody. I was meant to have a lot of the family here. We'd planned this a few months ago. I said, hopefully the restrictions will have eased and I can bring my nan and granddad over to the house, and my mum and dad and my sister and so forth. But unfortunately, with the way things are, that they're not. They don't fancy travelling, just airports and planes, and so myself and my brother Jake, we're actually going to go over to Liverpool for a couple of days. Hopefully, that's the plan, and we'll get tested before we go and just make sure we're okay and so forth. But yeah, it's going to be a different sort of Christmas now for everyone, unfortunately. But listen, we just look on the bright side. At least as long as you've got the health to be able to do it and to be able to go forward, that's the main thing.
Now, did I read somewhere where you tried to fit an 18-foot Christmas tree into your house?
He did. Hang on, let me flip this around. Can I turn this around? I don't know if you can see that tree.
Wow.
It's you can't see the top of it, actually. It keeps going another 3 or 4 foot above there. But Yeah, I did a programme for BBC NI called Keeping Our Country at Christmas. Myself and my brother hosted the show from my house, and we had a few special guests, Cleona Hagan and Lisa McHugh and Robert Mazzell, to name but a few. And the first opening sequence was me and Jake going to get a real Christmas tree, cut it down and bring it back to the house. And of course, Jake wanted the biggest tree we could get, which there was actually bigger, but I definitely wouldn't have fitted the bigger ones through. So this one is 18 foot, and it took us over 2 hours to get it through the door. It arrived, we couldn't get it in, we couldn't fit it through the door. The door's only a standard size door, so it had to go back and get wrapped so it would make it smaller, and then we still took us an hour to get it in, get it up, and it was a whole handling. But anyway, it was good crack, and it made for a bit of good TV.
So looking ahead to next year, can you make plans for 2021?
Kind of. I mean, we cancelled, so we're not cancelled, but we rescheduled so many shows from this year to next year. And obviously we're keeping everything crossed that they're going to go ahead. So many people have bought tickets, and thankfully they held on to the tickets. They just said whenever it's going to happen, we'll come then, you know. So we've shows scheduled all over England, Ireland, Scotland, America. So we rescheduled about 90 shows from this year to next year, you know. So we're hoping they're all happening really from March, April time onwards. That's when we've rescheduled them from. So we shall see.
And I know it's just been confirmed, you're going to be headlining a big music festival in England next year, aren't you?
Oh, in Blackpool, yeah. That's the first of its kind, I think. Myself and Lisa McHugh and a whole host of the British country music singers are doing a big festival there. And country has become very popular in the UK over the last few years. Obviously we know in Ireland it's been very popular for a long time, but especially in the likes of BBC Radio 2 in mainland England has been playing a lot of country and the modern stuff, which I wouldn't necessarily be on the same genre, but was very honoured that they've asked me to headline this festival next year. So it's great to see some bookings are coming in anyway. That's one of the latest bookings we've had, and can't wait for it to happen.
Well, Nathan, it's been great talking to you as always. Have yourself a great Christmas, and sure, we'll catch up sometime in 2021. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Have a good Christmas. Take care of yourself.